Listen, do you constantly feel stuck in your 20s? Like you're somehow supposed to have it all figured out, but instead you're just overwhelmed by endless choices? Maybe a little confused about where you're headed or dealing with this lingering sense of loneliness? Well, if you are nodding along right now, trust me, you are absolutely not alone. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down some incredibly powerful, real-world wisdom that can literally shift your entire trajectory. All right, let's dive right in. We are going to distill years of real-world observations and hard-earned life lessons into a highly actionable playbook for your personal and professional growth. We're not looking at boring theoretical textbooks today. No way. We are looking at real, practical tools you can use right this second to upgrade your mindset and finally break out of that rut. So here's our roadmap for today's wisdom breakdown. 1. Master your daily choices. 2. Build action-oriented habits. 3. Identify your internal red flags. 4. Embrace the growth phase. And 5. Learn to help others. Okay, let's get into it. Starting with Section 1. Master your daily choices, beating decision paralysis and separating wants from needs. Get this, a whopping 86% of Gen Z actually suffers from menu anxiety when trying to order at a restaurant. I mean, think about it. You sit down, look at a menu, and suddenly you're sweating over the difference between the spicy rigatoni and the truffle fries because there are just way too many options. We are bombarded with so many choices every single day that our brains literally just freeze. And since nobody ever really taught us how to decide things, when the big life choices come around, we panic, we ask the wrong people for advice, and we get completely stuck. So, to overcome this paralysis, you've got to start small. By committing to tiny choices daily, you're actually training your brain to handle life's biggest decisions. It's kind of like working out a muscle. Decide quickly what color clothes you're going to wear today. Pick a restaurant in under a minute, or just choose a movie without endlessly scrolling for an hour. Don't linger in confusion. Just make a choice and stick to it. By doing this every single day, you are actively prepping your brain's decision-making muscle for the heavy lifting later on. Now, this decision-making flaw perfectly illustrates the wild difference between our parents' generation and ours. If you ask your dad to buy a new phone for work, he's probably going to say, I don't really need it right now, right? Because they only upgrade when they truly practically need to. But look at our generation. We convince ourselves that we absolutely need the brand new iPhone just to start making content, or some massive full PC setup before we can even begin editing a simple video. We treat our wants as deal-breaking needs, and honestly, it completely holds us back from ever starting. So starting today, rigorously separate what you truly need to progress from what you merely want. Moving right along to Section 2, build action-oriented habits, conquering procrastination and daily alignment. If you want to stop letting minor tasks snowball into major stress, you absolutely must implement the less than 1 minute rule. It's so unbelievably simple. If a task takes under 60 seconds to complete, do not put it off. Period. Don't say, I'll do it tonight or I'll do it tomorrow. Do it right then and there. Because look at what happens when we don't. Putting off these tiny tasks causes massive inconveniences down the road. Let's say your parents ask you to pay the electricity bill online. It takes 1 minute, but you say, I'll do it later, and boom, suddenly they're slapped with unnecessary financial fines. Or your mom asks you to recharge your TV connection. You procrastinate, and the TV shuts down for days. Or worse, what about scheduling a quick blood test for yourself? You keep pushing it off, and you end up neglecting your health for an entire year. These tiny delays compound into huge, unnecessary headaches. Just knock out the 1-minute tasks instantly. And beyond just knocking out the small stuff, you need daily alignment. If you aren't absolutely thrilled with where you are right now, use these 2 steps every single night before you go to sleep. Step 1, ask yourself, where exactly do I need to reach? And step 2, what must I do to get there that I haven't done today? Asking yourself this nightly literally forces you to identify what's missing, allowing you to micro-correct your trajectory every single day. The compounding improvement you'll see from this is just unmatched. All right, Section 3. Identify your internal red flags, shifting focus from others to yourself. Have you looked at yourself? What are you doing? Man, that powerful question was a massive wake-up call the speaker received from his own brother during an argument. They were having a typical dispute going back and forth, and the speaker just wanted to shut the whole thing down. He wanted to pull the classic, "Let's talk tomorrow, I want to sleep" card. But his brother stopped him dead in his tracks with those exact words, serving as a powerful mirror reflecting his own avoidance. This is so important, guys. Instead of constantly looking for red flags in our friends or partners, we need to realize that avoiding hard conversations is our own massive red flag. We're always so quick to point out what's wrong with everyone else, but we rarely evaluate our own toxic traits. Cutting off an argument simply because you want to sleep or leave completely avoids real resolution. The actual red flag here is the refusal to pause, truly listen, and understand where the other person is coming from. Our goal shouldn't be to expose everyone else. It should be to turn our own internal red flags into green flags.
Which brings us to Section 4, Embrace the Growth Phase, Navigating Loneliness and Feeling Stuck.
Look, actively working on yourself can feel incredibly isolating. But feeling stuck or lonely does not mean you're doing something wrong. It is simply the awkward gap between who you were and who you're becoming. Think about it. Your old friends might not relate to your new ambitions anymore, making you feel isolated, and at the exact same time, you haven't quite reached the level to connect with your future peers. You're just caught in the middle. You might feel lonely, confused, and even start wondering if you're just being selfish. But hear me on this. This feeling is completely normal. Literally every successful person you admire has survived this exact uncomfortable middle ground.
When you're in that lonely phase, you're going to be so tempted to just throw in the towel. But let this sink in. Keep doing what got you here. It is the exact same thing that will carry you forward. Do not abandon your progress just because it feels a little uncomfortable right now.
Finally, Section 5, Learn to Help Others, moving beyond self-help to societal impact. This brings us to the final, and honestly perhaps the most crucial piece of the puzzle, shifting from the internet's total obsession with self-help to the true mark of a leader. If you look online, there are millions of videos obsessed entirely with the self. How do I achieve more for me? How can I get richer? Right? But true leadership completely flips this narrative. It is fundamentally about helping others. It's about figuring out how you can actively improve the lives of your friends, your family, your customers, and ultimately society as a whole.
To become a better leader in your 20s and beyond, you absolutely must actively learn how to elevate everyone in your radius. And this isn't something we're naturally taught to do. It requires a conscious, deliberate decision. So take a step back and evaluate your impact. If you're a creator, how are you helping your viewers? If you run a business, how are you genuinely serving your customers? At home, how are you supporting your family? And expanding outward, how are your actions contributing to your society and country? It's time to stop just asking how to help yourself and start strategizing on how to lift up this entire radius.
So that brings us to our final takeaway. I want to leave you with this provocative thought to carry into your week. How can we help others today? It's a remarkably simple question, but it demands action. We might not have all the answers right now, but the journey to success requires us to start asking it daily. Drop your ideas in the comments, share your thoughts on how we can genuinely help one another, and let's keep learning together. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.